shift our attention to the 2020 U.S. presidential election, which is seeming to be a battle full of twists and turns, and the end is nowhere in sight for now. Even though Joe Biden is inching closer to the magic number of 270 electoral votes, it is still not known how things will eventually pan out. Now, Trump, who is still stuck with 214 electoral college votes, has opted to take the matter to court. He has decided to question the very credibility of voters and sought legal action to determine who will finally take the White House, and this, of course, is unprecedented. The latest turn of events raises a crucial question. Will there be a peaceful transition of power? Democrats and Republicans are gearing up for a possible legal showdown, it seems.
I don't know if this is going on any other place. But it is going on with enough frequency in Wisconsin that we've brought suit, and now we'll have to look into 3 other places. What it says to me is this is a concerted effort of the crooks that run the Democrat Party. And you know these big city machines are crooked.
This is fraud. This is absolute fraud. We've seen it in Philadelphia before. They're trying to make a mockery of the election of this country. My father is up by almost 500,000 votes in this state, with 86% reported, and plenty of red counties left to go. Plenty of red counties left to go. We're going to win Pennsylvania, but they're trying to cheat us out of it because they know it's their only path to victory.
You heard them. Now, before we get into the details, let's take a quick look at what led to this situation. The legal problem stemmed from the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic changed the dynamics of this election in more ways than one. And in order to accommodate millions of voters, states expanded mail-in vote programs, as well as rules on how and when mailed ballots would be collected, verified as well as tabulated were changed. Now, at this point, the team Trump can challenge Team Biden in states with a narrow margin. Now remember, the Trump campaign has already filed lawsuits in 3 battleground states, and those are Pennsylvania, Michigan and Georgia. These are key states which are crucial in picking the candidate that will eventually take the White House. The new filings demand a better access for campaign observers to locations where ballots are being processed and counted. The Trump campaign is also seeking to intervene in a Pennsylvania case. Now, this case deals with whether ballots received up to 3 days after the election day can be counted. And the governor of Pennsylvania has condemned Donald Trump for his recent statement, and he said that this lawsuit is simply wrong and goes against the basic principles of the American democracy. Listen in.
Our election officials at the state and local levels should be free to do their jobs without fear, without intimidation, without attacks. These attempts to subvert the democratic process are simply disgraceful. Let me be clear. In Pennsylvania, every vote is going to count. I'm going to fight like hell to protect the vote of every Pennsylvanian. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that every vote counts.
Our goal is to ensure, again, we're being transparent but also fully accurate, and that the public, you all, can trust the results of the results as an accurate reflection of the will of the people. Now, importantly, as we go through this counting, as the counting is completed, boards at the county and state levels that are also comprised of people from both parties will then review the procedures and counts of the entire elections before the results are certified as official.
A lawsuit has been filed in Georgia against the counting of ballots that arrived late. Now remember, the Trump campaign is also demanding a recount of votes in states like Wisconsin as they allege irregularities in several counties. Moving on now, after 3 years of officially announcing it, the United States has now officially withdrawn from the very controversial Paris Climate Agreement. The United Nations regulations refused to let Trump withdraw from the accord back in the year 2017. The Paris deal was drafted in 2015 to strengthen the global response to the threat of climate change and came into force in November 2016. Now it aims to keep the global temperatures from rising further and keep them well below 2 degrees Celsius and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase even further to 1.5 degrees Celsius. 55 countries are part of this accord and are expected to take stock every 5 years to assess the collective progress. The future of America's climate change policy hangs on the election outcome. President Donald Trump and the Democratic nominee Joe Biden would undoubtedly lead the country in opposite directions. Let's start with Biden, who has called climate change the existential threat to humanity. In fact, he took to Twitter saying that the Biden administration will immediately rejoin the Paris Accord if elected to the White House. But even if he wins the White House, his plans to invest trillions of dollars towards making the U.S. a greener nation will face a deeply divided Congress. Now remember, while the electoral map appeared to tilt in Biden's favor, it seems that the GOP will retain control of the Senate. And this would make it difficult for a Biden administration to shepherd a comprehensive climate bill through the upper chamber. And if the Senate remains in the Republicans' majority, any legislation would need the consent of the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. The Republican Senate leader from the coal mining state of Kentucky has a long history of opposing any federal action on climate change. Nonetheless, the uncertain election outcome doesn't change the scientific reality of rising temperatures and the burning of fossil fuels and other human activity which continues to warm the planet further at an alarming rate. The United States could miss its own Paris Accord commitment to lower carbon emissions 26% to 28% below the 2005 levels, but this goal is by the year 2025. According to a report, the country is on track to cut its emissions between 20 and 27%, depending on how quickly the economy recovers from the pandemic. But it would need to cut emissions by 43% over the next decade to be on track to reach net zero emissions by the year 2050. This is a goal that the European Union, Japan, South Korea and other nations have set in a push to slow the world's warming.